Hello everybody, Mike with Spray Jones coming to you with another video, and I want to discuss when you see all the different foams out on the market, how does one go about finding the foam, what should he get, what should he be looking for, whose supplier should we be using, and why? These are great questions. They need to be sort of divided into two parts, open cell and closed cell, and then after that, whether you're in Canada or whether you're in the United States. As most of you know, my name's Mike, I'm the owner of Spray Jones, and I produce this content for keeping the industry up to speed, and I'm in Canada. And in Canada we have very strict rules concerning the foam. It's highly regulated so that, well, they're trying to regulate it so that a certain grade of material with certain mandatory testing is what you will get if you are a homeowner or building owner, or so commercial grade foam and residential grade foam all has to meet Canadian Construction Materials Certification, and that has mandatory testing for off-gassing or VOC content as we call it, water absorption, dimensional stability. It has all these physical properties tested so that we'll know whether or not the foam will stand up to a 30-year mortgage. That way the underwriting can support it. And then that's what our building code supports. Our building code has references when it comes to insulation in commercial and in residential, and it references standards that the foam needs to meet. So if you're going to be putting a closed cell or even an open cell, you need to meet these standards. Now, commercially, architects, engineers, they're going to be the specification writer. I mean, they have master spec writers, but they're going to call for a certain product with a certain set of properties. They're going to approve whether there's alternates or not. They're going to say how many inches they want of a certain product. They're going to point it out on the drawings, how they want everything detailed, where they want things lapped, membranes, transitions, different types of framing details, you name it. Everything is going to be drawn by the architect, and then it's going to be sealed with their stamp. And they're going to take the authority and they're going to take the risk, and they're going to seal that. And in those situations, the building code officials don't generally argue with them, because that seal, that stamp is higher than the building official. But the idea is that the building official is not going to do any harm, but they have that power. They have that power to do harm if they wanted to. When it comes to residential construction, where we are, there is no seal. What it is can you demonstrate that you meet the standard? If you meet the standard and have the certifications for that, then the building official and the permit office and the authorities having jurisdiction in your area will agree that the foam is certified, and that applies to open cell and closed. So in Canada, you're going to see that our foams are dyed a certain color, and the reason that they're dyed is that the natural color of a closed cell 2-pound density foam is going to be a neutral butter, not butter color is what I'm trying to say, and sometimes it's a lighter white depending on what's in the chemistry. But they want to have it readily identifiable by sight. So they have a dye added to the foam so that no two suppliers are the same. Although there's been a lot of crossover, a lot of different suppliers have come out with colorants that are very similar to other suppliers, and there's starting to become a little bit of overlap where more distinction needs to be made, so that when you walk into a structure, you can absolutely see, all right, this is so-and-so ABC company. And the reason that I generally don't name a lot of companies is I'm keeping it more generic, because what's important here is the ideas and the information, and not necessarily plugging one person over another. It's the overall ideals. Now, the guidelines on the foam means that, all right, it's going to be 2 pounds per cubic foot, it's going to stick to a certain value, it's going to have a certain VOC content, it's going to have a certain water absorption, it's going to have certain burn characteristics, smoke development. All of these things are tested and certified. So then all the suppliers, all of them in Canada, when it comes to 2-pound foam, and the reason that I keep saying 2-pound foam is that there is no certified regulatory building grade foam that is of 3 or 4 pound density. The industry decided a long time ago, okay, if you're going to be putting closed cell foam insulation in the walls or roof of a home, it's going to be somewhere between 1.8 to 2.2 2.1 pounds per cubic foot. Obviously, it can go higher, but you're not going to be competitive selling a 3-pound density foam against people who are selling a 2-pound density foam. The mileage is different. So we've decided that the foam going in is going to meet these standards. So everybody across the board, if you've got a building code certified foam, all meets the same minimum standards. That's the whole idea of the regulations in Canada. Now, the U.S. is going that way. A lot of the U.S. products are sold into Canada, but they make sure that they have the Canadian certifications, because in Canada, you can't just take something from the U.S. and say, look, it meets all the regs in the U.S. Well, what regulations? Like, we have our own burn rate. We have our own VOC testing. We have our own dimensional stability testing. So if you don't have specifically your product tested on those things, but you had them tested in the US, but maybe you skipped our version of the burn test. Like, our burn test is very destructive, and it's very rigorous is what I'm trying to say. It's very rigorous. If you come to with a United States product into Canada and don't have ULC certifications, you just have ULs, probably not going to pass. They're not going to pass you. They want to have our testing, our regs, our certifications. So all these foams are to meet the same minimum standards. And then from there, you can expect on a product level that if it's a CCMC certified foam, that it's a quality product. Now at this point, you've got your product, but you have to choose your installers. You have to get somebody to install it for you. Because part of the regulation is, if you have a certified product, you have to have a certified installer. You can't go and buy it. You can't go and rent the equipment. You can't take one of my rigs for the weekend and do something for your house. And the reason being is that Canadian regulations has always wanted there to be certified people with certified product. That only makes sense. Why would you want to have a product that meets a certain standard and then all of that is thrown out the window and irrelevant if you go and have somebody that doesn't know how to achieve the standard? So you have a certified set of people, and I'm going to kind of wink. You can't see my face, but I'm kind of winking, because suppliers have been known to put and rush people through a course. If you go and take a course for 1 week or 1 or 2 or 3 days, 72 hours worth of training, it doesn't get you, it might get you with a name on a card, but in no way, shape, or form is that where you're going to hand somebody a 4,000 square foot house and be on it for 2 or 3 weeks. So this really still is an apprenticeship program. You need to train with somebody who's done foam. You need to be with somebody watching over you, showing you how to do the equipment, dialing everything in, and making sure that the installed product is in fact what is tested and certified and will work. And you need to know all the ins and outs, where the foam needs to go, where it doesn't, and all of the gaps and how to fill everything. And I mean, on commercial buildings, are you going to hand a brand new hospital wing over to somebody and say, here you go, you've never sprayed foam before, or you've only ever done small garden sheds or something, and now you're going to spray this big, huge wall? No, I don't think so. So there is a progression in life. You really do have to walk before you run. But the spray foam itself is supposed to be of equal merit in Canada. And the United States is going towards that. Obviously, free market and competitiveness says, listen, if I create a foam that is very temperamental, or doesn't spray well, or doesn't get good yield, or it's hard in cold climate, or it's hard to spray in hot climate, obviously if it's not competitive, people aren't going to want to buy it, and then the law of natural selection sort of kicks in and you're out of business. But not before you've wrecked a bunch of people's lives. So as you, the consumer, going out and saying, I want to get spray foam, what do I want to get? You want to get a credible company. You want to get a fairly large multinational, or a large company that's been in spray foam for a while. They didn't just buy up a company. There's a lot of that going on right now. You want to have pedigree. Who are they? Where are they from? How long have they been in the business? What kind of chemists do they have? It's hard to source all that stuff out. But, I mean, BASF and Huntsman, right, Bayer, some of these larger chemical corporations have the chemists and have the expertise behind it to make really good products. And then those products hopefully are going to be somewhat selective into getting into the hands of the more advanced people. And that is why I brought this channel to the forefront, was to educate people that even though there are same minimum standards for spray foam, some of the spray foam out there, it doesn't spray as well. It's more temperamental. It doesn't work as well in the cold. It doesn't work as well in high humidities. It just straight up doesn't spray as well. And then the attitude behind the distribution. I mean, are they going to sell it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the zip code? 4 or 5 people? Are they going to stab you in the back? Like, we don't have certified territories where, like a franchise, where you can't sell another person in this area. So conceivably, they can go and spray with 3 or 4 people. And you get too many people in the market, they start cutting the throat of people, they start taking chances, they start finding ways to cut corners, and it brings the whole entire industry down. So what you're looking for is a good quality product that has got a verifiable pedigree, a verifiable company that is going to stand behind it, one that's not just some sort of recent buyout, although that can be a little bit difficult because corporations are constantly buying and acquiring certain product lines into their portfolios. You want to get people that have a reasonable expectation of quality and standing behind it. They've got the testing, and then they've got the dealer network to get that out into the hands and vet their contractors of who they want to be selling to, who they want to be setting up. Fly-by-nighters or people that are more opportunistic really don't care about any of the things that I'm saying. They're there to sell product, get it in, pay with a credit card. You grabbed it, you put it on. Hopefully you don't have a problem. If you do, they're hard to get a hold of. You want to be dealing, we've been dealing with BASF on and off for 18 years. It's hard to get credit. It's hard to get certified. It's hard to get them to want to have you into their portfolio. It's not that they're going to say no outright. It's that you have to come to them and you have to go through all of their qualifiers. And you have to play by their rules. Otherwise, they're not going to have you in. Those are good things, because the people that you don't want to be dealing with are, hey, would you like some of my stuff? They have more of a drug dealer mentality. Hey, how would you like some samples? How would you like some of this stuff? I can get you sets of this cheaper than anybody else can. And for me, that's not appealing, because we need to have all of the documentation, all of the certification, all of the building code approvals. We need to know exactly what we're putting on and where, and have it approved. So those are the things that we're looking for in the industry. That's what you should be looking for. Credible product, verifiable pedigree. It's got all of the physical properties that you're going to need. It's going to have the dealer network to get it out there into the hands of the contractors. The contractors are vetted. They're certified. They follow up on them. It's hard to get in. And stability. Watch for people that have been spraying a product for 5, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, if they've even been around that long. Top quality people generally don't flip. They're not constantly flipping product all the time. So check those things out. I'll keep updating you as I've got more videos coming out on what to look for spray foam. And share, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.